I look so weird. I'm just looking at my own mustache. Wow. Back at it. We're back at it. We still continue. I believe we're starting with, I'll put it in black, Warm Glow up here. Oh, this is a nice pen. Then we're going to go from Warm Glow to Kids POV. Which if you don't know what that means, it means platypus on, and then we're going to do kids' values. I guess that goes with their POV, but you'll see what I mean and why I'm separating it. Last part, compare and contrast. Alright, so let's start with the best topic of all topics. The one you've been waiting for, the one I'm not prepared for, because my notebook is now right here. 1 second. Found it. Actually, one more second. Alright, some updates. Got all the papers, just context-wise, entire full page, maybe a little bit more, I haven't fully checked. 7 different full-length articles, highlighted, read, directed, questioned, a 4-page Google document, listed, highlighted, gone through, dissected, and put into separate parts. Is it 4 pages? Yeah, it's a good 4 pages. All for the Warm Glow. But before even the Warm Glow, I had a wonderful conversation with my roommate, who taught me some perspective. I was missing 3 for the examples. And so 3 would be young group of friends, not a couple, guy offers to give a girl a ride. Which, looking at it, oh, perfect middle ground right there. So, now that we have, annoying, all this, let's get started with the Warm Glow. So, I don't even know where to start, man. There's just so much. Luckily, the academic papers are in the Google document, subsequent with other stuff, so make it easier. But the way I wrote it on here, let's start with number 1, definition. All right. So, definition, as we have on here, is essentially a modern psychological construct or theory. I'm going to use a lot of abbreviations for this. Construct / theory. AKA the best way of thinking about it, a helper's high. When you do something, you feel good, right? Number 2, the philosophers and subsequently the debate and debating. So, I'll go into the list of philosophers. Let's see, right through here on. Okay, actually, I kind of hit this on the nose. Because here's the thing, I wrote this very just throwing it on there, and the way I did it on Google Doc, very different. So, for instance, I have a whole section dedicated to arguments of why people are selfish, devil's advocate, historical significance, the model itself, questions, and the definition. So I like the way I have it on here, and if it needs to change, I have this very rudimentary way of doing it. there's a lot more definitions as well on here. But we're gonna keep it simple, all right? Because we're gonna try to stay objective when describing warm glow. Okay, and for instance, in being objective, the historical significance, there are two main schools of thought that have existed since Plato, Socrates, the early Greek, when people were thinking. This is when they started. And it was between egoists and pure altruists. So, egoists, which I always thought was egotists, it's just, it feels weird to say out loud, egoists, and pure altruists. Egoists believe that there is no such thing as selfishness, that every action you do is a consequence of you wanting to feel good about yourself in doing that thing. Jessica gives $2 to someone on the street. Why did she do that? Not for that person, but for herself, so she could feel good, right? Jamie gives an apple to every single teacher. Why did she do that? So she can get better grades. So, within the egoists are, did I really miss what, I'm gonna figure out which one, Plato, Socrates, they're all on. Because I know that they have sides, but I didn't really write it. The main philosophers arguing for this are Hobbes, Kant, whatever you want to say. Nietzsche, big one, needs to take control of the life you're given. Bentham, J.S. Mill. I'm just going to put those two, etc. I'll talk about them later. Pure altruists are the ones who believe that pure altruism exists, that people can be good, people can be selfless, and when someone gives $2, it is without any help for themselves, purely doing it for someone else. Right? Within this argument, there is Butler, Hume, Rousseau, Adam Smith, Negat, they're all French, dog. Rousseau and Adam Smith are probably more known than the rest of them. Rousseau's kind of a freak, though, no lie. They're all freaks. They're old white men. Come on, what else do they do? But, also, stupid French name. Can't even spell it right. Alright, etc. So, there is this, right? And then comes, in number 3, right here. You see how I said warm glow? It's going to, like, take over the whole thing. We'll see. There is James Andreoni, a little Italian man who's American, whatever, and he did a very, very interesting study in the 1980s, 1990s, where I'm gonna make sure I get the book right. Because this is the book that kind of starts this entire thing. Come on. Why am I not finding it right now? Here we go. We're gonna search for this because it's right here in the notes. You know what? We'll give a little brief description. All right. Actually, no, we're not. We're just gonna give his book. Hello? Did I delete his book? That's like the thing. It was crazy. I've just, okay, in retrospect, I have a lot of notes in this, so it's a little difficult to figure out which ones are quotes off the book or which ones are just quotes for something else, or, okay, come on. Well, because then, because Hobbes actually kind of started it. Not really. I mean, who really started it? That's a real question. But it doesn't matter who started it. What matters is, holy shit, the book that I don't even have. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look up James Andreoni book. How am I so unprepared right now? What the heck? On warm glow. Okay, hello? Why is this? Am I like bugging right now? Okay. I might have to give this a pause really quick to actually go find this book. What am I? Okay. You know what? I'm realizing what I'm doing. You caught it in real time. I thought it was a book. When in fact he didn't create a book. Well, he wrote books, but James Andreoni is, I mean, like, what is he? Can we just like a professor in UC San Diego, university professor. Okay. It's gonna be slow and awkward on purpose, so we can do this right here. And he came up with a model. And unlike other professors who sleep with their models, he decided to use it for the good of philosophy. The model that he came up with was called warm glow. Now we're gonna still continue this up here at the top. So, we're just gonna change markers, continue. All right, so warm glow is essentially, sorry, that really threw me off. The fact that I thought he had a book, but it wasn't a book. It's the model. I have the model on there. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna keep going. It's not gonna deter me. Little side note. Really, I don't know what this is, but really small things have really like clicked my entire mood. Hasn't really happened before in life, but it'll be something as small as like taking 5 minutes to think about something bad in the past, or like dropping a pen 5 times, and I'll just like the mood will just completely deplete from there. All the energy. It hasn't happened right now. I recognize that as later. And the warm glow model. All right. Now the warm glow model is a bit complicated. So I'm gonna try my best to explain it because we're going to add this as a little note. There definitely is like an effect of classism that exists with philosophers and professors and psychologists using big fancy words to kind of describe concepts that it's like unnecessary. They never really needed to. And then on top of it, what happens, it like separates those who memorized big words in schools and those who couldn't afford to go to schools or chose to didn't listen. And I don't know, it's a very like classist, it's more like it's a, what do you call that, systematic classism. I'm gonna just make a little side note on there for this speech because that's what I was really noticing. I was reading it, and I'm not the smartest human being on the planet Earth, but it took me a couple of tries, and I was able to understand the warm glow model. But I just realized I can explain this easily. And I'm not even a fucking university professor. I'm not a fucking guy who spends hundreds of years, like half their life philosophizing about these concepts. Like, why don't they just write it in easier text? It doesn't need to be this complicated. Some words make sense that are hard to describe. That's why they're bigger words. Other words are just like synonyms of easier words. I mean, I can show the model. I think that would be important to show for this point. And then when I break it down, you'll see it's not that complicated. It's only 3 parts. I digress. Show. I'm going to get a big picture, show the model, and scientific annotation is no fun. I think we're good. So, 3 parts. All right. First part is is you take a person with wealth, a person with affluent characteristics. Basically, take doesn't need to be a rich person, right? Take Bob. Bob is going to signify a person who has affluent income. You see why I'm saying that? Person has money, dog. He has money. Bob has money. All right? And you're going to add Bob with the good that everyone else has ever done in the world. Okay? So just take Bob by himself, right? Take the good that everyone else has. Everyone else has done. Everyone has done. There you go. And then you're also going to add, you're going to subtract all the good in the world. It seems a little backwards, right? But it'll make sense in a second, okay? Look, you took Bob, and all the good that everyone has done, right? Then take away everything everybody good has done. What does that leave Bob with, right? Just Bob himself without any good actions. That's all it is, right? We can even make it easier. Bob without any good actions. Who is he? B. All the good in the world. And when I say good in the world, I mean self-proclaimed selfless acts. The thing like the $2, giving food, giving someone a ride, working in a soup kitchen, all those different actions. That defines all the good in the world. And then 3 is just all the good in the world minus the good from everyone. Again, also seems backwards. You know what, dog? It's not my complicated thing to make sense of. But that is the entire requirement. You put those things, you multiply them, you put them together, essentially, those 3, and that's what constitutes the warm glow model. In retrospect, let me tell you, as someone who isn't a university professor, it seems pretty simple just to take the guy and then take away all the good that's in the world, and including the good that he has ever done, and then see about the things he's done. But you know, it's not my journey to take. This is the model that they have used, all right? Bob plus all the good that everyone has done, subtracted by all the good in the world. Then you take all the good in the world, then you take all the good in the world, minus the good that everyone has done. You know, that is the way to find the warm glow model. It's not, again, it's a psychological construct. Like, it's a theory. Like, you can't, like, literally put, like, elements of this in to make it work. But that is the construct of what the warm glow model is. And A better way of saying warm glow model right here is just simply impure altruism. I should say, for the sake of the speech, this is a lot to explain over me kind of explaining nothing. I mean, it's basis off the warm glow model. There's stuff I didn't even say. AKA, person's wealth, all the good in the world, good from everyone else. Right? And I feel like yeah. Oh no, wealthy person's good deeds. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I knew I was missing one element because it sounded weird in my head. So, C, apologies. All the good in the world minus the good from everyone else but Bob. And I should say, but Bob. When I say good from everyone else, that's minus Bob. Bob is not there in that. So, essentially, how I'll break it down, in impure altruism fashion, I'm just going to make this a little bit easier in a different color, to make this AKA. A is Bob. B well, let me just put it over here. B is all good in world. C is Bob's good deeds. And let me tell you, it took like 2 hours to understand this entire warm glow model. Unnecessary, to be tell you. The systematic classism, unnecessary. But that's what it is. Person who has wealth, all the good in the world, the wealthy person's good deeds. You figure out those 3 things, that is what shows that the warm glow model exists, right? AKA impure altruism, AKA the in-between of the two. Basically, in 1989, James Andreoni kind of just said, guys, stop fighting. We can all be friends and eat some ice cream together. Can't you see? We feel good, right, by doing these actions, but they're still altruistic actions. They're still selfless actions nonetheless. We just have this warm glow, right? It makes ourselves feel warmer. It gives ourselves a better feeling about ourselves when we do the things. But it doesn't subtract the fact that there are still things, right? We still did those actions, even though they made yourself feel good. They still happened, right? And so, subsequently, that started a whole other debate between much tinier philosophers of what feeling good, just in its general sense, is itself selfless or selfish. I'm not going to get into all that. Jeez. There's also the psychological. I'm just now realizing there's a psychological reasoning behind it, which I don't really want to explain. Essentially, it's social distance, vividness of the beneficiary, guilt, avoidance. Look, there's a lot with warm glow. Like, there is a lot to warm glow. I'm trying my hardest to take this major concept, put it into a very cohesive speech, and then build more around it. But this itself, like, that was fast. This itself is like enough to be its own full thing. I mean, it kind of is. Warm glow, selflessness. If dead batteries, I love you so. Oh, dead batteries, if you die too, I will kill you. So, we were talking about the psychological reasoning with Warm Glow. I'll get my computer. Social distance. So this is within Warm Glow, right? And how the different effects of Warm Glow affects you. There is how close you are, the distance socially you are. We think of social distance like COVID, but when you think of, oh, I'm giving money to help poor people in an impoverished country with their shoes by giving an extra 5 cents to the cashier versus giving those shoes to an impoverished family, right? That changes how you feel a Warm Glow. There is the vividness to the beneficiary at being able, when you see the difference that you tried to make happen, giving someone $2 versus giving an organization $2, right? Hence why different organizations videotape so many of their good deeds, so it gives the vividness of someone saying, when you do this, this is what you should be doing, and that'll make you feel good. And then there's the guilt avoidance, basically the flip side of Warm Glow. You don't want to feel bad, and therefore you feel good. Think about the why am I forgetting the name? The guys who stand at the doors. Red Cross, something Cross. Cross. Apologies for the different look. It's been that long between different shoots. I had both cameras cut out, had a pause the next day, did an interview. This is how I look. Let's just keep going. And I also was concerned last time with how long the video was going to be as a result of explaining so much in the Warm Glow model. I kind of skipped towards the rest of the Warm Glow model, realized, oh, it's not that much. All right. Impure altruism, and it's shown through 3 different ways. One, I explained them all before, so I'm not going to do it again. Distance. I said social distance, but really just distance. Two is perceived significance. Perceived significance. Yeah, vividness to the beneficiary, perceived significance. We'll just say perception. Distance, perception, and C is guilt, aka guilt avoidance. And so, with these 3 things, the Warm Glow model, well, this is how it measures the different Warm Glow models, right? How intense or less intense Warm Glow is. And through these 3 things, the Warm Glow model has been described as a visceral manifestation of empathy, right? And think about that. It makes a lot of sense, right? How you empathize, how you relate, feel towards someone right there. You are viscerally, almost violently manifesting this idea of empathizing with someone, right? It's I love that quote because I think it explains it so well. A visceral manifestation, I'm just gonna put of empathy right there. So that is it. That's the Warm Glow right there. What we're gonna do now that we have, since that's just 3, or I guess it's 4. This would be 4, because James Andreoni is its own thing, and then 4 would be Warm Glow. Or I guess 4 would be the model. Yeah, no, but I'm not wrong. For is its own thing, which is the model. So within the model, we're going to make this very even more simple. Okay, we're going to I'll get a different marker. Well, I'll use the light green one because it's not going to be too much. First thing, oh my gosh, what is the point of this marker? Absolutely useless. Is the second one just as useless? Because holy, it's like literally only I could see it. Yeah, only I could see it. I guess that's kind of nice. I can write some notes that you can't see, but also what's the point? Alright, whatever. It's so useless. Alright, number one, we're going to take a picture, a large scale picture of the very complicated Warm Glow model. Right? Number two, we're going to comment on the systemic classism of big words, how it's used to kind of separate those with knowledge and those without knowledge, and you know how that line of logic goes within classism. And I also phrase this even easier. I'm not sure if I had this. Yeah. So we're going to do the equations all first. So this will be 3, and then 4 will be this right here. Okay, so I did do it. 4 will be this right here. Even easier. Bob, all the good in the world, Bob's good deeds. All right? And then we're going to have, well, this is going to be along with 1A. So this is going to be, oh, I guess if I really press down, maybe you can see it. But this is 1A, so this is going to go like even before. And so is visceral manifestation of empathy. I like visceral manifestation of empathy at the end, though. Well, okay, we'll see how this relates to the end, and then we'll do it. But for the sake of Warm Glow itself, 3 different ways, this will all be a part of 5. Okay, so I didn't order them right, but it's just 5 parts in Warm Glow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to label at the top impure altruism. That's relating it to the last one. There's egoists and pure altruists, right? The last thing I'm talking about is the 3 different ways that Warm Glow is showed. And then the next topic is going to be on the list. A list of things. Yeah, a list of, and this one we really need to separate. Basically, when I made my Google Doc, it's arguments of why people are selfish and the devil's advocate version. Egoist versus pure altruist, or kind of Warm Glow being real, Warm Glow not being real. More so that. So, we'll keep this as 6. And we'll keep the order as I wrote it, because we're going to then go into Warm Glow's not even done yet. Like, that's how crazy it is. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna have 5 be I wrote list, but I'm just making sure. It was list, proof, devil's advocate, and I think that was all I had at the moment. In the thing that I have on here, historical significance, I didn't really talk about as much, but I can like throw that in there. How about this? We'll do historical significance next because it goes into everything. And I'm trying my hardest to remain biased, but I think within this, I'm proving my point. So showing factual data to prove my point is, it's got to be used later because I got to use the kids' POV. Okay, fine. We can do historical significance. Right? Oh, I didn't underline any of them. My bad. Because this is very short, straightforward. I'm not taking anything off. Arguments, the model, questions. Questions, well, I have two questions, right? Uh, this one's the introduction to the warm glow model, which I kind of already am using the parents, Billy Bob Joe, and oh my gosh, I have it, no worries. But the Bob Joes, shopping at a store, you make a donation to a particular charity. Did you do it because you wanted to, you'd feel better if you did, or because you felt like you have to? And so that was the introduction, the alternate introduction to the warm glow model. Don't need it now. The second one, could warm glow giving and selfish altruism be positive for both the giver and receiver? I believe the answer is yes. No doubt about it in my mind. So, kind of straightforward. Don't really need all that. Historical significance. Did egoists, did James Andreoni, I'll change that a little bit later. Essentially, it is this conversation, this warm glow model, right? Even though it started in 1989, has developed, and even though it's a theory, keep in mind, a lot of people first excused it as a scapegoat, but has turned into like a real psychological construct that goes towards philosophy, philanthropy. I don't need to talk about the fact that it wasn't real at first. It's like saying, I don't know. It downplays the idea of it existing when it is very real. It just didn't seem that very real at first. Philosophy, philanthropy, overall consumption. We got a lot of stuff here. Business is too basic. Economics, sociology. That's right, let's keep going. Political science, healthcare, voting, product advertising, sustainable investments, business. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm gonna write them all. Fuck it. Sorry, screw it. My fault. That's on me. Poli-sci. Try my hardest to write them down in little abbreviations. Healthcare. Voting. We're gonna steal some of the space that I did not. I knew warm glow was gonna take over the entire thing. Product advertising. Sustainable investments. That's its own sustainability. We'll put sustainability because that is its own like major subset of warm glow. There's like countless articles, like many articles that I've read talking about how making sustainable efforts is good for the environment, but also makes you feel good, right? I felt a little strange reading it, as it felt a sort of slight manipulation into the process of uh, assuring people that it's okay to help the environment because you'll feel good too. So you should give us money so we can help in the environment so you'll feel good too. And then that got into a larger scale version of who am I, a speaker? What am I doing? Manipulating people. They need to listen to my speeches, right? So they need to pay money to hear me. It went into a bigger rabbit hole than it should have, to be honest with you. But sustainability as a whole, huge, huge emphasis on warm glow and business. even though business is a bit generic and also kind of gets put within economics, consumption, still there, right? All these different things get affected by warm glow. I read all of them. I'm not going to go into explanation about all of them. And this should be warm glow. This is not all warm glow. This is just what I have for warm glow. I think the idea is after I do the kids POV and kids values, I'm going to compare and contrast using the different arguments for people being selfish or not, warm glow or no warm glow. So, and show that that's not really what we should be looking for. Ooh, let's change up. Let's really try to condense this again. Might be a 45-minute speech. We have warm glow, right? Definition, a modern psychological construct or theory, aka a helper's high, right? Think about all the examples we used earlier. Jessica, Jamie, the young couple, or the Roberto giving someone a ride, Bob Joe giving his wife flowers. It doesn't matter, right? It's a helper's high, right? Now, the idea of whether something is selfish or not has been a long-standing debate between the egoists, aka Hobbes, Kant, J.S. Mill, Nietzsche, Bentham, and the pure altruists, Butler, Rousseau, Hume, Adam Smith, Nagel, my fault. I'll make a list of it. And then in comes James Andreoni. James Andreoni is a university professor in California, and he created in 1989 the warm glow model. Right? The warm glow model, as complicated as it is, we're going to show this big graph. Also, as a little side note, the idea of all these philosophers, university professors using these grandiose, upscale definitions of words. I'm not the smartest tool in the box. I understand that. But I also understood the warm glow model. It took me a little bit, but I was able to condense this huge, big model and maybe able to explain it to you all, right? It's weird that there's this systemic classism that comes with those who know big words and those who don't know big words, right? If you know it, then your kids know it. If you don't know it, then your kids don't know it. And it's just like this, it separates us so much. I digress. We're using that word a lot. We're going to use a person of affluent influence, aka man's got money. Alright? His name's Bob. Bob is going to be a representation of people who have a lot of money, right? Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter where, they just have a lot of money. That's Bob. The first it's broken down into three simple parts, right? Bob plus the good that everyone else has done, subtract from Bob, right? So Bob himself exists right here. The good that everybody else has done. You add those things together, right? And then you take away all the good in the world, right? What do you have left? Just Bob. Look, I didn't make the model. That's just how it exists, right? Then, second one, you're going to take all the good in the world, right there. Third one, you're going to take all of the good in the world, and you're going to subtract the good from everyone else but Bob, right? So take all the good, take away all the good except for Bob's good deeds. So, essentially, this very large, complicated graph comes down to Bob himself, his riches, his influence, right? Right there. All the good in the world, and then Bob's good deeds. You look at these three different functions, and you're able to see how a person can observe, or how a person can get this helper's high, how they have a warm glow existing around them, right? Again, it's a modern psychological construct. It's a theory, right? So there's no exact way of putting, for instance, Bob in this scenario, but there are three different ways that this can be elevated, right? Lessened. First one, right here, distance. Depending on how close you are. I was thinking about this earlier today. I'll have a dollar bill right here. You right here look like you have gone through hardships in your life. Am I correct? Yeah. Well, here you go. I'm going to give you $1 right there. That's for me to help you in the future with your hardships in your life. All right. Same thing. I'll take the $1 back right here. Excuse me. I know that you're giving money to people who are facing hardships in their life. If I give this $1 to you, will you give it to the people that are facing the hardships and spread it? Right? I'll do it backwards actually. So I'll say to someone, you're having people go through hardships. I know you're going through hardships. So the distance level gives a different elevation to the warm glow, right? If I did it to someone directly versus I do it through a middleman. Along with that is perception, right? The vividness to the beneficiary. If I see someone, right, after I give this money to them, go and create a job or create a job for people who don't have jobs or help others in the world, right? And I see this with my own eyes, that gives me a bigger warm glow versus I just hear about it. I still feel good, but it's a difference than actually seeing it, right? Perceiving this helpfulness. Finally, guilt, aka guilt avoidance. Best example, Red Cross. You see them all the time. Little bell, little thing right there, guy waving the bell, little Santa Claus hat, all red. So they did a study in the, I believe 2012, I'll double check it. It was a really short description, but there was a study conducted on whether people would approach the Red Cross salesmen, Red Cross volunteers, whether the Red Cross was at the side of the door closer to the parking lot or at the side of the door away from the parking lot. So once they conducted it, they realized more people wow, I probably shouldn't use this example because I only read it one time. More people avoided them when they were away because you don't want to feel bad. The entire point I'm trying to make here is guilt avoidance. It's essentially the flip side of warm glow. You don't want to feel bad, right? The same way you want to feel good. And by successfully avoiding feeling bad, you then feel good about that because you didn't feel bad. So these three different elements show the different levels of warm glow. I'm gonna really work on it. And because of this, it's been described in blah, 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 blah article. I don't know, I have like 7 of them up here. In the article of warm glow versus altruistic values, it is a visceral manifestation of empathy. Think about that. It's a visceral manifestation of empathy. Oh, little Captain Crunch. He's gonna lay down right now. I can already feel it. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. God, it's like magic. It's like magic. So, now that we have this, we're going to talk about the historical significance, right? And while the warm glow, James Andreoni created this model in 1989, and it skyrocketed, right? This impure altruistic ideal, right? So many different businesses, organizations, uh, influence has come from this. It's changed philosophy, philanthropy, overall consumption, economics, sociology, political science, healthcare, voting, product advertising. Sustainability has its own like cornerstone of Warm Glow. I read like 15 different articles. I should say most of them were like a paragraph or two, but still full ass articles. Zen Basil, the Decision Lab, Science Direct, all coming from pro-environmental behavior, sustainability efforts, consciousness that if you you are sustainable, right? You help out the earth, then you'll feel good too. It's a win-win. I'm not gonna say anything much about it. I believe it's some sort of very twisted version of manipulation, but I also believe what I'm doing is some sort of version of twisted manipulation in business. Now, we're still not finished with, no, we are finished with Warm Glow. That is going to be the full thing of Warm Glow. These 5. Alright? For the next video, finally, I gotta stop this video. Next video, I'm gonna actually talk about kids' POV, kids' values. And with compare and contrast, I'm going to include that side over there of Warm Glow or not, and give the devil's advocate with it. So that should be all. Captain Crunch actually just left, unfortunately. So go for it, please take a look on the screen. And oh yeah, I already said at the top, right? A guy offers to give a girl a ride. Perfect. Next time we'll be talking about the kids, which I gotta make up names for. Oh yeah, I'm not saying bye, I'm just